Eagles third-round draft pick Sydney Brown has been taking Eagle OTAs by storm and impressing everybody in attendance. However, it's his story that got him to the National Football League that's really going to shock you. I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Friday. We all understand that Philadelphia might have gotten a really good player in the third round with Sydney Brown out of Illinois, the safety who's going to compete for a starting role on this Eagles defense, but you probably don't know his backstory. I want to start there today. This guy, with his twin brother, who also got drafted in the 5th round by the Bengals, went through hell and back in order just to make it to the league. All props to his mother for this. There's a really great article here. We'll go through it from the Philly cover corner, going through, you see right there, Sydney Brown's relentless pursuit to become a Philadelphia Eagle. And it basically starts off with this whole idea that he was born a twin to his brother Chase, and they were born to Rachel Brown when she was just 18 and still in high school, and basically became a single mom very quickly and had to raise the two twin boys on her own, which was very difficult because they were in London, Ontario, Canada, where most kids play hockey instead of playing football. But because hockey is expensive, it requires pricey equipment, she's decided to go ahead and try to put him in some other sport. And there was a football league nearby. She enrolled both of her sons, and they took to it like crazy and had an incredible time growing up in Canada, at least early on, playing football. Now, the boy's father, Darren Isaac, he played in the Canadian Football League for 3 seasons, and so both the twins were really good, seemingly learning from their father, whether he was there or not, in terms of getting really good at football. So basically, they played 8 years of football together in Canada. They never lost a game. The twin brothers on the same team never lost a game, and they were really good going into their early teen years and getting ready for high school. The problem is that everything changed whenever their mom, Rachel, gave birth to their baby sister, Maya, because Rachel then got very sick. She discovered she had ITP, which is a type of platelet disorder where your blood does not clot as it should, and because you have a low platelet count, you then have to go ahead and get, I believe it's dialysis, and get blood transfusions. Might be blood transfusion instead of dialysis, but it makes her very tired, unable to work, and raising 3 kids, including 2 twin boys, would be very difficult to her. And so obviously trying to recover, the boys kind of took over taking care of their little sister, but money was really tight, and Rachel eventually lost everything, right? They lost their home, they lost all of their possessions, and they had to basically move into a homeless shelter in order just to have a roof over their heads. It was then that she basically realized, if I'm going to do what's right for my boys in terms of giving them their best chance possible, we've got to get them to America, we've got to get them on a high school football team and see where their progress and their overall growth can go ahead and take them. So she essentially packed the car, drove the family 1,300 miles to Florida at St. Stephen's Episcopal School in Bradenton, Florida, where they could go ahead and play football, and she left them there. Like, the kids were going to go ahead and stay, and she moved back to Canada, and essentially Sydney and Chase were able to move in with like a foster family, Phil and his wife Karen, who agreed to go ahead and take the boys in, and they could go ahead and start taking classes, get acclimated to Florida, and then Rachel and the sister would move back to Canada. And so there's a really crazy quote here where she basically says that tuition or paying rent was the choice, so we paid tuition. So again, Rachel pays tuition and didn't really worry about rent back home in Canada, just to make sure that the boys would be able to play football and continue to follow their dream. Already an incredible story. Thumbs up for the overall Brown family, but Rachel Brown, their mother, being an incredible single mother to these young boys. And of course, the boys were incredible, right? We know that both of them got drafted, so obviously they were probably going to be pretty darn good when they were at this Florida high school. And once they joined the team, St. Stephen's did not lose a football game. They won 22 straight. They won 2 Florida single A championships, and they were great both academically and on the football field. It's crazy the fact they were able to blossom this well, going to a brand new country in America and a brand new state in Florida, just trying to play football and get the grades, and it was all incredible. So they finish high school, they head back to Canada, but then they instantly start getting looked at from D1 schools, and both of them go ahead and get picked up to play college football. Of course, Sydney goes ahead and he gets selected to go play for Illinois, and then his brother joins a Western Michigan in 2018 that eventually transfers to Illinois in 2019 to go ahead and join Sydney. So they're both together. They're both playing well. COVID was a little bit of an issue there because you got the 2020 COVID shutdown. They worked out together and played in that 7-game shortened season, but you basically had Chase learning from offensive coordinator Rod Smith, and Sydney worked with head coach and defensive coordinator Lovie Smith, Smith, former Bears head coach, and he was able to grow tremendously as a safety and eventually make it to the league. And it was on draft weekend where both boys would go ahead and be drafted. Sidney, 3rd round to the Philadelphia Eagles, and Chase to the Cincinnati Bengals in the 5th round, and both have chances to not only make their roster. We know Sidney will, and Chase being a 5th rounder, he will as well, but have some immediate impact on the football field for both of those football teams. And so while we talk about Sidney Brown a lot in terms of the fact he looks good at Eagles camp, he is really in competition, potentially get the starting safety job alongside Terrell Edmonds. Reed Blankenship is also in the mix, Kayvon Wallace. It's the story behind the story that I think is incredible to start here with on a Friday for a kid that came from literally nothing and was able to grind his way up to the top, make it at a D1 school, be a really great safety at a D1 school, and then eventually be drafted in the 3rd round, nonetheless, by the Philadelphia Eagles. And you know that they're going to be taking care of their mother, Rachel, as well, who will now hopefully be able to not work anymore and be able to enjoy watching the boys' games, because she didn't get to go a lot of them whenever she was in Canada and they were in Florida. So that'd be a fun story to start out with, just kind of get to know Sidney Brown. We talk about a lot on the football field here on this show, but what he came up with his twin brother as well, I'm rooting for both of them, and I think they have very good chances to be pretty darn good players in the league. We'll see about the rookie year, but obviously further on, I think he's going to be really, really great. Okay, let's move over here to a Yahoo Sports article that goes through the top remaining defensive free agents on the free agent market that could fit the Eagles depth chart. Glenn Irby here on Yahoo Sports just gives you a look at what's available, even though I don't think Philadelphia is interested in any of these, but if injuries were to happen or you get to training camp and you don't like what you see, you at least can see the list that we're going to show you up on the screen. Here are your top edge rushers, right? Devin Clowney, Yannick Ngakoue, Trey Flowers, Justin Houston, and Melvin Ingram. All older, all beat up, but there are some names here, right? Ngakoue is the best of the list. He had 9.5 sacks in 2022 and has had over, 65 in his 8-year career, so he would be an instant plug-and-play guy. For instance, if you don't like what you've seen from Derek Barnett, you could go ahead and plug him in. Clowney, the production dropped off last season, 2 sacks in 12 games. Maybe if he's healthy, he plays well, but those are your best defensive ends that are available. In terms of defensive tackles, not a lot here. Maybe Shelby Harris draws your attention. Chris Wormley, none of them are going to be anything special. This would be like emergency situation if you needed a defensive tackle. Linebackers, you still have Jalen Smith, Quan Alexander, Kyle Van Noy, Miles Jack. I mean, Philadelphia has their pick of linebackers if you get to training camp and you don't like what Christian Ellis is looking like. Nakobe Dean struggles a little bit. Nicholas Morrow isn't what you thought he was going to be. Taylor and Bradley are never going to make it. This would be worst case scenario, but they have a very, very good chance to pick up any of these, and they have a really, really good opportunity if they need to go to the free agent market and grab one. Also, some middle linebackers, again, Rashawn Evans, Zach Cunningham. Evans would make some sense. He led the team in tackles last year when he was with the Atlanta Falcons, but obviously Philadelphia feels comfortable with where they're at right now. Corners would take a serious injury to get a cornerback, but there's Marcus Peters, Ronald Darby, Byron Jones, Bryce Callahan, all names that you will recognize. They haven't played a lot. I mean, Marcus Peters hasn't played an entire season since 2018, but he does have a lot of interceptions, so if you needed him, again, the point of this is to show you if you need him. And then John Johnson and Andrew Adams are the 2 safeties that are available right now. Again, none of which I would sign, but curious if there are any names on this list besides maybe Ngakoue that you're really excited about. I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments section. I do want to mention this quickly here. How about Aaron Rodgers turning down a trade to the New England Patriots? The New England Patriots try to tell you they love Mac Jones. I don't think they love Mac Jones. ML Football is this, quote, 4-time MVP quarterback Aaron Rodgers vetoed a trade to the New England Patriots and chose the Jets per Craig Carton Live of Fox Sports. When Aaron Rodgers heard the Patriots offer, his agent said, no, we aren't playing for New England. We will want to be a Jet, end quote. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that he hates the New England Patriots or thinks their roster is bad, but it does show how motivated he was to be a Jet, and it makes sense because the Jets' offense is better than the Patriots' offense, but it does show you that the Patriots were trying to upgrade over Mac Jones. And while they'll sell you right now, Mac Jones, maybe they signed DeAndre Hopkins, can be a great offense. Who knows? Maybe they will. It shows you that they were really not that keen on Mac Jones, which is not good for New England, who Philadelphia plays week 1 of the 2023 season. And finally, I saved it for last because I didn't want you guys to have to see this, but the Chiefs did get their rings last night for Super Bowl 57. The ring ceremony happened. You see the Kansas City Chiefs tweet here. I figure we look at this just because this is what we're going for, right? We didn't have a chance at getting this last year. We missed out. We had the chance and blew it. But this is what we're going for in 2024. The Super Bowl ring. It looks good. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I hate watching it, but it looks pretty good with the 3 diamonds there and the arrowhead, and then the top comes off, and it shows you Arrowhead Stadium there at the bottom. They get really creative with these things, and they're awesome, but it stinks that, man, that Philadelphia is not going to be, didn't have a ring ceremony for themselves last week, which I didn't want to show you this, but I thought it was at least worth noting that they did get the rings. If you were curious, that is what they looked like. Okay, plenty more stuff happening over the next couple of days and weeks here on the channel. A lot of fun shorts, including me ripping the Dallas Cowboys today. If you missed that one, go check out my shorts on my channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as we're almost hitting 14,000 subs here. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.